running through the city night, lights flashing left and right. Got my crew, we roll so tight, family till the break of light. Engines roar, the thrills alive, fast cars keep the dream alive. In this ride we won't deprive, love and speed where hearts collide. We're racing hearts in neon glow, speeding past the pain and woe. Family love in every flow, in this life we steal the show.
All right, strap yourselves in because we are going deep into Los Santos.
The criminal underworld of Los Santos.
Yeah, today we're talking Grand Theft Auto 5, and we're going to break down the entire story.
From start to finish.
Yep, all based on your gameplay footage. And get this, about a third of the way through,
Oh, it's a wild ride.
things take a turn you won't see coming. And
That'd be good.
then we'll even spin some theories about GTA 6. So what's really interesting about GTA 5 is it's got 3 protagonists.
Yeah, you got Michael, Franklin, and Trevor.
They each have their own baggage, desires,
On the past.
and their past is definitely going to catch up to them.
In some seriously messy ways.
For sure. And it all starts with that flashback, right?
Right.
That bank robbery gone wrong in the Midwest.
Up in the snow.
Yeah. And you can see they have this intense bond.
Right, from the beginning.
But also this tension, like something went wrong back then.
Oh, yeah. That robbery scene, it's not just action, it's like foreshadowing.
Oh, for sure.
The game jumps back and forth in time and you're piecing it all together as a player.
It's so cool. One of the scenes that you sent me, Franklin is comparing himself to Michael.
Oh, yeah.
He wants that flashy gangster life.
He's young and hungry,
Michael, on the other hand, he's retired.
lives in a mansion.
But he just seems so bored.
That contrast is really important because the game explores the criminal life as this, seductive, hollow dream. You think it's all glamour, and then
Reality hits.
reality hits hard.
Especially when Trevor shows up.
Oh, Trevor, he's a wild card.
He is pure chaos.
Unpredictable, brutal, but somehow...
But somehow charming.
Yeah, you kind of like him.
Yeah, and the way they introduce him, like we meet him in the middle of this brawl with
The Lost MC.
the rival biker gang.
Immediately, you get a sense of how powerful he is.
Yeah.
He commands attention, or in this case, fear.
Okay, so you've got Michael trying to bury his past, Franklin's reaching for that criminal life,
Right.
and Trevor's just being Trevor. What happens when these personalities, they all collide?
Things escalate quickly. You've got Michael and Franklin teaming up for some pretty intense heists.
Oh yeah, like that jewelry store robbery.
That was in your footage.
They pulled it off with gas grenades. It was insane.
Pure cinematic brilliance.
For sure. But it's Lester behind the scenes feeding them all the intel, right?
Oh, yeah. He's like their digital guardian angel.
He's the tech genius.
Maybe a little bit of a devil on the shoulder, too, though. Yes. I mean, considering what they're up to.
True. And okay, remember I mentioned that surprise earlier?
Oh, yeah.
It all goes back to that Midwest robbery.
Mhm.
Get this. Trevor thought Michael was dead.
Dead this whole time.
This whole time.
The whole time.
So Michael cut a deal with the FIB. They're like,
Like a super corrupt FBI.
yeah, he faked his own death, went into witness protection. But then,
But then Trevor sees him on the news,
after the jewelry store heist,
recognizes his moves.
and then, boom,
The truth comes out.
it all explodes. Wait, hold on. Witness protection. Did Michael really just start a whole new life? Like, just
Well, not exactly. The FIB, they were using him
for what?
to do their dirty work. Eliminating rivals, stock market manipulation.
They really held his past over his head.
They did.
So Michael's trying to stay low-key, but they keep pulling him back in.
It's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, and now Trevor's back in the picture thinking Michael betrayed him.
Oh, yeah, he's
This
furious.
is not going to be good.
Oh, it's a recipe for disaster.
Disaster is an understatement.
Yeah, that.
So, what happens when Trevor finds out Michael's alive?
Their reunion. Explosive.
I can imagine.
Accusations, anger, but
They
realize they need each other.
Oh, to survive.
They're in way too deep at this point.
Yeah, they're in over their heads. All right, so we've got Michael stuck between his past and his present.
Right.
Franklin's caught in the middle. and Trevor's, well, Trevor. Where does the story go from here?
This is where the consequences of their actions start to really hit.
Okay.
They've made some powerful enemies, the biggest being Merryweather Security.
So it's not just gangs and cops anymore.
It's corporate power now.
Wow. What else happens?
They face betrayals, loss.
It's getting dark.
The game makes you wonder if they can really ever escape this life.
That's heavy stuff. But before we get too deep into that, we got to talk about the action sequences.
Oh yeah, GTA 5 is known for them.
What are some of the standouts from your gameplay?
Oh man, where do we begin? There's that cargo ship infiltration to steal a weapon.
It looks like something out of a movie.
That raid on the FIB building felt like a scene straight out of Hollywood.
It did. And the stunts. You're flying helicopters, racing through the desert.
Skydiving onto a moving train.
Crazy. And the game lets you do it all. You can approach missions differently, experiment with vehicles.
Cause mayhem.
So much freedom.
Yeah.
And the story keeps you hooked.
It does. And speaking of the story, we have to talk about the endings.
Oh yeah, you said our choices shape your fates.
They do.
What kind of choices are we talking about?
Throughout the game, you're making decisions that affect their relationships. Loyalty, betrayal, compromise. These choices decide who lives and who dies in the final mission.
Wow, so there's no one right ending.
Exactly.
It depends on the player.
It's your story.
That's what makes it so powerful.
You're not just watching, you're shaping the narrative.
It becomes a personal experience. Okay, before we spoil all the endings, let's dive into those choices and what they mean for Michael, Franklin, and Trevor. This is where it gets good.
Oh, yeah. Get ready for some tough decisions. Welcome back. Last time, we were talking about those tough choices in GTA 5 and how they affect the ending.
Yeah, those choices really come to a head in that final mission, right?
They do. It's a showdown between Michael, Trevor, and Franklin.
And the player has to decide.
You're holding their fates in your hand.
No pressure. But seriously, knowing that there are different endings just adds this whole other level to it.
It's not just about finishing the story, it's about how you finish it.
Exactly. So let's break down those choices. What's the first option?
The first option, you can call it Kill Trevor. This ending is about, cutting ties with the past.
Okay.
Michael wants stability, even if it means making some morally questionable choices.
To protect his family.
He wants to leave that life behind for good.
It's the classic going straight idea, but in GTA style.
Right. It's got a dark side.
What about Franklin in this ending?
He has to choose between loyalty to Michael, who's been his mentor, and his own sense of right and wrong.
It's a tough choice.
If he kills Trevor, he gets Michael's approval, a big payout, but
There's always a but in GTA.
he loses a friend and maybe even a part of himself.
Even in a video game, you feel the consequences.
You do. And that brings us to option B, kill Michael.
Okay, what's the motivation there?
This one's all about revenge. It's Trevor's raw anger at Michael's betrayal.
If Franklin sides with Trevor in this one,
He's taking out the guy who brought him into the game.
that's a serious power move. What does he get out of it?
He eliminates Michael, yeah, but he also loses that connection to the FIB, all those potential favors and protection,
So he and Trevor are on their own.
facing a much harder fight for survival.
It's like trading one problem for another.
The game doesn't give you easy answers,
It forces you to think about the consequences.
and that leads us to the third option, Death Wish.
Death Wish. Okay, what's that one all about?
This one throws a curveball. Instead of picking a side, Franklin brings Michael and Trevor together.
Okay.
They put their differences aside to fight a common enemy.
Who's the enemy this time?
It's the FIB and everyone who wants them dead.
Wow. The ultimate team up.
This ending is all about fighting for freedom.
It's a gamble, but a chance to start over.
On their own terms.
There's something kind of poetic about that, even after all the betrayal and chaos.
It highlights what's so great about GTA 5. There are no easy answers, no perfect ending.
Even the best choice comes with a price.
The game doesn't shy away from the complexity of life.
It's deep. You mentioned earlier that GTA 5 is a satire of American society.
Oh,
Can you explain what you meant by that?
Not just about crime, it's holding a mirror up to our obsessions.
Like what?
Celebrity worship, the pursuit of wealth, corruption, greed.
It's all there.
Exaggerated, over the top, but with a grain of truth.
I feel like the characters really show that. You've got Laszlo, that radio host who just wants to be famous,
Desperate for attention no matter how ridiculous he looks.
and the Kiflam cult.
Oh yeah, exploiting people's desire for meaning.
It's hilarious, but also kind of creepy how much it reflects real life.
Even the in-game media is a satire.
Sensationalized news.
Bias, fear-mongering, it's showing how easily we're manipulated by information.
And then there's the whole social media thing.
Characters are constantly posting selfies, bragging about their exploits.
Getting into fights online.
It's a reflection of our own social media obsession.
It's all presented with this dark humor that makes you laugh. Then you're like, wait a minute.
It hits a little too close to home.
That's what makes GTA 5 so great. Okay, let's shift gears to GTA 6. You originally mentioned Fast and Furious 6 and Bonnie and Clyde as inspirations.
Oh, yeah.
What made you think of those? How do those themes fit into GTA?
Both of those films have elements that are already at the heart of GTA. Intense action, loyalty, family.
Whether it's blood or bond.
Exactly. Fast and Furious 6 is all about this crew, each member bringing something unique to the table.
I could already picture the heists and car chases.
Right. And the settings could be incredible. Reimagine Los Angeles with those highways, or maybe a sprawling Vice City with all the neon lights.
That would be amazing. And the crew dynamic itself could be a big part of the story.
Rivalries, betrayals, those moments of intense connection.
It would add so much depth to the gameplay.
Yeah.
What about Bonnie and Clyde? That film was a love story.
It's a passionate but doomed love story.
How would that work in GTA?
Imagine two protagonists. They're in love, but they're also driven by this ambition to build a criminal empire.
The higher they climb, the more they risk losing each other.
Their love is tested by betrayal, power struggles, a constant threat of getting caught.
The setting could really play into that.
Oh yeah, think about a gritty 80s Vice City.
Neon lights, fast cars, but with this underlying darkness.
It would be perfect for that Bonnie and Clyde vibe. Reckless, stylish, but dangerous.
And like GTA 5, we could have multiple endings based on the player's choices.
Exactly.
Do they stay loyal? Does their love survive? Do they choose love over ambition?
It's those kinds of dilemmas that make a game truly engaging.
You're invested in the story.
We're not just completing missions, you're making choices with real emotional weight.
I love it. And speaking of choices, what about the technical side of things? What kind of advancements would you like to see in GTA 6? It's like GTA 6, Love and Bullets coming soon to a console near you.
Oh, I like that.
Right. But really, the possibilities for GTA 6 are kind of endless, especially with those Fast and Furious and Bonnie and Clyde ideas.
Definitely. And on the technical side, I'm hoping for a world that feels even more alive.
What do you mean by that?
Like, imagine a Vice City with weather that actually affects how you drive.
Oh,
Crowds that react to what you're doing.
that would be cool.
A world that changes based on the choices you make.
So it's not just set dressing. It actually matters.
Exactly. Think about it. You're in the middle of a heist. You cause a blackout.
Oh, wow.
The whole city goes dark.
That would change everything.
Strategy, the level of chaos,
Yeah.
everything.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
What about the AI, the people in the world? How could they improve that?
I want them to be more unpredictable.
Yeah.
Imagine rival gangs that actually remember you from before.
Like they hold grudges.
Yeah, or they try to anticipate your next move.
That would make the game so much more intense.
Every playthrough would be different. Like, you're really building your reputation in the city.
Oh, I like that. Building a reputation. And what if your actions in those side missions actually affected the main story?
Right. Like, what if helping a small-time crook early on gives you an ally later?
Or if you betray someone, it comes back to bite you. Yeah.
Exactly. It would blur the lines between the main story and the open world.
Every decision would matter.
It'd be like a butterfly effect.
Oh, I love that. Even the small choices have consequences.
Exactly. And character customization.
Oh, yeah. What about that?
I want to be able to create a character that feels totally unique, not just how they look,
Well,
but their personality, their background, their skills.
like you could choose if they're a smooth talker or a tech expert
Or a ruthless killer.
or all of the above.
Exactly. It gives you so much more control over the story.
You're really role-playing.
It's all about creating a world that feels real and immersive, full of possibilities.
And knowing Rockstar,
They'll push the boundaries.
they come up with stuff we haven't even thought of.
For sure. So we've covered a lot today. We broke down the story of GTA 5, talked about choices, the future of the franchise.
We've been on a journey.
We have. Any final thoughts?
Yeah. Any words of wisdom for our listeners before we wrap up?
GTA has always been about pushing the limits, you know? It reflects our fascination with crime and that whole world.
But it makes you think, too.
It does. It holds up a mirror to our culture, sometimes in a funny way, sometimes in a darker way.
It's a game that makes you feel something.
It does. And as we wait for GTA 6, it's exciting to imagine what they'll come up with next.
The stories, the technology, the way they'll surprise us.
GTA is always reinventing itself, and that's what keeps it so interesting.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And to our listener, keep those controllers ready.
Keep those imaginations going.
The world of GTA is huge.
There's always something new to discover.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Catch you next time.
Rolling through the city lights, midnight chases, neon nights, engine roars, I feel the thrill. Speed demons got time to kill. Fast lanes, no fear, no break, adrenaline rush in streets we take. Ghost in the shell will never stop. Race to the summit, hit the top. Hustle hard, never slow. Life in the fast lane. Go, go, go. Burning rubber, leaving smoke. We own this town, that's no joke.